Over the past half-century, really, those who've landed on top have come increasingly to believe that their success is their own doing, the measure of their merit, and that they therefore deserve the bounty that the market bestows upon them. And by implication, that those who struggle, those left behind, must deserve their fate as well. It produces a kind of hubris among the winners and humiliation among the losers. It teaches the winners, if I believe that I achieved whatever I achieved through my own efforts, through my own doing, because everything was fair, then I'm likely to inhale too deeply of my own success, to forget the luck and good fortune that helped me on my way, to forget my indebtedness to those who make my achievements possible. And so this is what I call the tyranny of merit.
Bring Michael Jordan here, I'm sure you can get him, and have him come and defend himself about why he makes $31 million. And I think what you're going to realize is his life was a very, very tough one to get to the top, and that we are basically being the majority oppressing the minority in a different light. It's very easy to pick on him. Very easy.
Effort. You know what Rawls' answer to that is? Even effort depends a lot on fortunate family circumstances for which we can claim no credit. Psychologists say that birth order makes a lot of difference in work ethic, striving, effort. How many here, raise your hand, those of you here who are first in birth order? I am too, by the way. Mike, I noticed you raised your hand. If the case for the meritocratic conception is that effort should be rewarded, doesn't Rawls have a point that even effort, striving, work ethic is largely shaped, even by birth order? Is it your doing, Mike? Is it your doing that you were first in birth order? So why should income and wealth and opportunities in life be based on factors arbitrary from a moral point of view? This way of thinking about success has deepened the divide between winners and losers. It has led the successful to look down on those who struggle, and it has led many working people who do not have meritocratic credentials of fancy university degrees to feel that the work they do is not valued, is not respected in the way perhaps it once was. To feel that in a highly technological, highly professionalized, credentialized society, that elites look down on them. This has always been present, always been part of the American story. But it's been, at least at times, kept contained underground at the periphery. The brighter ideals and aspirations predominated. When I was growing up, and through the 60s, for example, the civil rights movement, and the fight for racial justice, and the protest against the war in Vietnam, and the attempt to combat poverty with the Great Society. But from 2016, it became elevated with the presidency of Donald Trump. We've struggled more directly and more conspicuously, more frontally with the dark side, finding public expression.
On the stage now.
On the stage, public expression, rather than kept at the margins and at the periphery. and finding a voice in the media, and in social media especially. And now in a presidential campaign that will be a rematch of the one from last time. We've seen as a backlash against elites, especially against well-educated elites, professional elites. Donald Trump has been very effective at tapping into the grievances of people who feel they've been left behind and looked down upon.
Humiliation.
The politics of humiliation. And it's this sense of humiliation, I think, that opened the way for the politics of grievance that Donald Trump has been able to exploit. In the United States today, and in many parts of the world, is a politics of anger, resentment, and grievance without mutual recognition, without recognizing the value of the contributions that people make from different walks of life. We will not really begin to address the resentments that now afflict our politics and have accentuated some of the darkest strands in social life.
我想大家去国子监，在中国这个 meritocracy 是这么的受尊重。你知道梁启超他去那个访问澳大利亚的时候，因为澳洲人怎么理解他嘛？举人对他们就翻译成那个 bachelor， 就学士学位，他们的进士是翻译成 master degree。然后他不是当过长沙实物学堂的那个总教习嘛，就翻译成 president of Hunan University， 所以很逗。所以误读，我真的挺想带去看国子监的，这特别对着他这个写的书的感觉，加上拼音线。
I'd like to invite you to offer your views about an incident, a story that I read about, where a 17-year-old boy sold his kidney. You all know the story. He bought an iPad and an iPhone. But how many think it's okay? It's a free market and there's nothing wrong with it?
Because I study economics, and I think every adult is an economic man that he has to be responsible for his behaviors. He clearly knows the consequence of losing one kidney. We should give him the chance to take that risk.
To choose for himself. A lot of people agree with that. All right, that's very good. So I would like to hear from those who object. Yes. And stand up.
Well, I think it's wrong because give your kidney to others. Maybe you feel it's okay, but in fact, for the respect of a person, it is not respect of life.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Even facing the same concept like justice.
Yeah.
You see the difference from different countries?
Yes, yeah. It's prompted me to reflect on why there are these differences when I encounter them. When I had these conversations with young people in China in the 2000s, what struck me was, first, they did have very strong pro-market moral intuitions, as I mentioned. And I would put a lot of examples to students and to the audience, asking them whether they think this or that social practice should be governed by money or by other norms. So I put questions like this. What struck me was the moral intuitions about buying and selling were similar in the US and China. In Eastern Europe, it was similar. In Poland, for example. Most European countries, it was quite different.
You think why? Why? Similar mentality?
I think it's because, especially in the early 2000s, that China had experienced, the young generation had grown up with the market reforms. And it had been a period of tremendous economic growth.
It's kind of freedom for them.
Yeah, it was an expression of freedom and rising affluence, but especially of freedom. But at the same time, they were looking for meaning that markets could not provide. And so the search for meaning persisted even after the market triumphalist moment. And I think that one of the reasons that people were drawn to the Justice book was this sense that there are moral meanings that lie beyond markets and beyond economics. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe we're facing two choices or different choices. We can't choose the best one. There are no best one. Just less evil. Just less evil one, maybe.
But I wouldn't regard these as closed alternatives. I would ask a different question. How is it possible to combine the benefits of market arrangements and technological innovations with sources of meaning, deliberation, dialogue, reflection that can answer to higher human purposes and ends? Our mistake is not to use markets to organize economic activities. Our mistake is not to hope that technological innovations will deliver real improvements to the way we live our lives. Our mistake is the tendency to think that markets and technology by themselves can define human purposes and ends. They can't. And when we put too much faith in them, when they become a kind of faith, almost a kind of religious faith, markets and technology, then we're bound to be disappointed. And when the disappointment comes, the disappointment may take harsh, dangerous forms.
So the situation is so complicated. What kind of solution we can provide? We try to build dialogue, but very difficult.
I think we need to focus less on arming people for meritocratic competition and focus more on contending with inequalities of income and wealth, but also inequalities of honor, recognition, and esteem. And this means we have to renew the dignity of work. We have to broaden our conception about what counts as a valuable contribution to the common good. And we need the kind of class-mixing institutions in civil society that will lead us to encounter one another, to be in one another's presence, not only on our phones, all the more so when our societies are divided and polarized, because the people we encounter tend to be people only like ourselves. We need to overcome that.
But every solution, every theory always has its own flaw.
Yeah.
So how about your solution? Your attack the meritocracy, but maybe your theory, your book still has kind of flaw. Maybe you must overcome what kind of flaw it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what flaws have you identified? Let's start with that.
I don't know. Maybe too idealistic.
Too idealistic?
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't know.
That what I've just suggested is really too much to hope for. I don't think that reducing inequality and renewing the dignity of work and creating a greater equality of condition and recognition will happen anytime soon. They're not easy projects to undertake. So I want to be realistic about that.
But do you think, should philosophy be more responsible for the historical consequence or not? The idea and the reality, Russell, Hegel.
Yeah.
They talk about inequality, talk about the virtue, but the consequence may be this one.
Yes.
Yeah, extreme opposite.
Yes.
How to see the paradox?
If one thinks, and I, as I do, that philosophy is always situated in the world, that philosophy should attend to the world, then philosophy cannot be indifferent, and the philosopher cannot be indifferent to the way in which various people or parties or movements implement philosophical ideas. So there's always an interplay between political practice and the philosophical ideas that inform it. And often they can go off the rails. They can go in very dark directions that the philosopher may never have wanted or anticipated. That's always a danger. That's one of the persisting dangers of philosophy. The part of Hegel that has led political practice astray in wrong direction, that teaches that history has a single ultimate destination, and that it takes a certain shape, that has contributed to some of the dangerous movements in history who may have been inspired by the idea that history points in a certain direction, and that it's our responsibility either to let history unfold or to help history unfold to reach that final destination once and for all. I think the phrase or the idea, once and for all, is a deeply dangerous idea. And I think it's at odds with the philosophical spirit of questioning, contesting, offering competing interpretations.
In your mind, in our time, which idea is the most dangerous idea in today's world?
I would say that the forces today that are most dangerous are the versions of religious fundamentalism or of hyper-nationalism or of ideological purity that all draw in one way or another on the idea that moral truths and human truths are singular, that there's only one way of interpreting our past, there's only one historical end or destination, there's only one true way of interpreting religious and spiritual traditions. Because what this misses, well, it leads to dangerous politics, but it also misses the deep pluralism of the human experience.
So how about the Silicon Valley philosophy? It's techno-driven ideology.
It's I would say it's a version of this. Because the most extreme versions of Silicon Valley techno-utopianism, some have a more specific term of transhumanism or singularity, because they too think that history is on their side. They too think that as technology develops and as generative AI develops, we will be transcending the messy, contentious, pluralist human projects and arriving at a kind of singularity. where perhaps our minds will meld with machines. And the very idea that going to the moon or to Mars is kind of a natural outgrowth of this way of thinking, where they can start anew. It's the ambition really to start from scratch with a clean slate, to begin anew, unfettered, uncomplicated by disagreement, contestation, challenge, dialogue, controversy, where they can start anew and build a society from scratch that is not, as they might see it, weighted down by the controversies that arise whenever human beings gather in society. So there is something, it's fantastical, but it's also dangerous and hubristic, because it implies that they are the avatars, they are the pioneers, the initiators of this new frontier that breaks free from the messy need to negotiate, to discuss, to disagree, which is essential to the human experience.
我啊，8月来的。
哦，都快
这个
快结束了是吧？
对，6月结束1年。我们进来吧。对。而且你是哪天到的？
前天刚到。
哦，所以还有时差吧？
有用户现在。如果从他第一本书一直到现在，这40多年过去了嘛，你觉得他身上一以贯之的这个逻辑，或者他的一个对世界理解的方式、视角是什么呢？
他有一些东西是没有变，他认为公共精神，对于个人和对于一个国家或者民族或者世界的政治都是特别重要的。所谓公共性就是大家要商量，不能有些事情那么独断的来做，就是通情达理，就 reasonable。你不能有一个说我们发现了一个法则，这个法则无论是你是用政治上的那种规约教条也好，或者市场上教条也好，你都要得想想，在各种不同的情景下，它会怎么样？它是不是在有些地方可以转变，可以变通？它是应该不断的被检讨的。
但我们的教育特别容易给我们这种思维方式。
对，像绝对主义和相对主义这样的问题，你没有办法用一个完全的论述来给出一个好的答案。但是只要我们回到生活的场景里、情景里，更好的方式总是有可能的。那么就让我们去找那个更好的方式。我们不要总体性的解决问题，
对，要回到非常具体的那种状态里。
当然，这个具体的问题，我们会有一些哲学的想法，一直能够启示我们去探索。大家相互讨论啊，理性的推论啊，它是一套生活方式。如果真的有这套生活方式，让我们寻求更好的办法，总是有可能的。
Even though it holds about 1,000 people, it feels intimate. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's banked, and people who are speaking can see one another. And it feels intimate. It feels like a seminar almost.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
What kind of role the intimacy played in the thinking? I mean, in the debating, I mean, how important it is.
It's very important because it allows for dialogue. What the intimacy creates is a sense of community and gradually building trust, where people can disagree with one another, but still with civility and mutual respect, and learn together. That's really the idea, to learn together. I'll put a question to students, and it's a kind of journey together. But there's no guarantee that the student who raises her hand or his hand will offer the argument or the idea that I'm expecting. Sometimes the unexpected can lead in very interesting directions. Other times,
sometimes like chaos.
Well, yeah, sometimes chaos to emerge.
So which part is most difficult? I mean, it's a journey. Sometimes journey is boring. Sometimes journey is very exciting. Sometimes dangerous.
Yes. Well, the most dangerous, that's the easier part to answer. The most dangerous moments, but in some ways the most important moments, are the ones where the questions we're discussing come closest to the personal feelings and convictions of students. And those are the dangerous moments, but they can also be the most revealing and clarifying moments. What I try to do when I teach is to bring philosophy down to earth, to show students how they have a stake in what famous philosophers of the past have written. Philosophy does not only reside in the heavens, far beyond the world in which we live. It inhabits the city. It informs our everyday life.
Okay. See you next time.
Okay.
Okay.
All the best. Okay. Thank you so much.
See you. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. 人家那个我们俩那应该背景特别好看吧？应该是。我回去好好练练英文，我英文不行。
你昨天不是刚说过不练了吗？就专注自己的事儿吗？
就今天可能觉得练英文也是自己的事儿。突然在舞台上，我变成那个被他追问的人，那一刻你突然意识到，当你被追问的时候，才是你的思考真正打开的时候。你会被迫调动起你所有的感受去回答他的问题，而且是那种更精确式的询问，你不可逃避式的询问。因为我觉得我总是经常在拐弯抹角地逃避一些事情。我们刚做这个13邀节目的时候，陈嘉映老师7、8年前跟我说，他希望我去读哲学书，我一直就没好好读过。这次在哈佛，我真正产生出想去好好读哲学书的冲动。那现在我也觉得桑德尔在埋各种各样的种子，这些种子也肯定在某一个时刻破土而出的吧。